G'day mate, welcome to Oxygen Not Included with me, JD. This is going to be another tutorial video. This time we're going to cover our skills, our interests, our morale, and a lot of the room bonuses and that sort of stuff. So, along with stress probably, we'll throw stress in as well. So, let's actually start with the skills area. As you can see, I have some highly leveled up dupes, and basically, every single duplicate has some amount of morale they get from different things, along with a morale cost, so a morale need. Now, the morale needs are made up from their actual skill tree. As you can see, you can get some significantly high morale. You know, my duplicates are up at the 30s because this is a fully developed experience base. Starting game, you're going to have morale of 1 because they're a duplicate, and a morale need of 1 just so they don't kill themselves or stress out. So, you need to increase their morale overall to then increase their skills to get them more qualified to do things. The number one thing you're going to want to do early game is get them up in digging so they can dig through harder material. So again, it's one of those things we can see here. If I was to take Drew and give him hard digging plus super hard digging plus super duper hard digging, he would have a morale need of 1 plus 6 being 7 total. In my case, he'd be perfectly fine. But I do have other duplicates that actually have an interest. So that's what this little love heart is in the actual digging. Now, if we go back to Drew, Drew has a morale of 35. If I bring it up to here, he'd have a morale of 35 with a morale need of 1 plus 6. If I took Huff instead, Huff would have a morale need of potentially plus 6 with a morale of plus 3. So he'd automatically get more morale, 1 point for every single point he goes up, along with having the negative morale from having a harder, more demanding job. This love heart just basically means that every single time they spend a point on something they're interested in, you get a bonus morale back. So it means that potentially somebody like Huff, who has multiple interests, they can very, very easily be able to trait up in multiple skill areas and have a lower, well, his morale's 40, his morale needs only 18. If I was to go back to Drew and take him through 3 skills that he has no interest in, his morale needs also 18, but he has a lower total morale overall. You've got to remember he did start with higher morale total. So it's something you need to take into consideration when leveling up your dupes. Do you specialize them in something you need, or do you specialize them in something they want to do to have an easier time managing your morale overall? You can always reskill your dupes or respec your dupes later on. There is a machine that will untrain them in everything, and then you can go back in there and retrain them in the things that you do want. It has no cost in the end. So it is something you can have them specialize in what you need there and then as a new duplicate comes out of the printing press that has the specialization and the interest that you want, you can then level up that duplicate in that brand new trait and then respec the old duplicate. So it is something to keep in mind. And then I guess we should go through the different ways we can actually get morale. Now, there's a couple of different ways to get morale. The first and easiest one is actually from the room overlay. So there are certain rooms you're going to build that will give you an increase to your duplicate's morale right off the bat. So the very, very first 2 that you're going to end up building is going to be a latrine. So a latrine just requires a toilet and a wash station. You're going to need a toilet and a wash station basically at the end of cycle 1. So what I really recommend is very, very soon, the first couple of cycles, just enclose it in a room. The maximum room size can be 64 tiles. Most people build things about 4 tiles high. So if you're building all your rooms 4 tiles high and 16 tiles wide, as long as you enclose this in either tiles or even solid dirt that has been undug, it really doesn't matter. Put a door on one side, that'll give you a latrine. So the latrine will give your duplicates a +1 in morale. You can upgrade that shortly to a washroom, which we'll get to in a sec. The second one that's really, really easy to do is a barracks. So a barracks, same story, maximum room size 64 tiles. It just requires a cot. So you can put 8 cots down, left to right, put a door in, enclose the room, and that'll give you a barracks for another +1 morale. This is very, very quickly, very, very easily +2 morale you can get. Morale is going to help with a couple of things. One, it's going to reduce your duplicate stress, because they will get stressed running out into carbon dioxide areas, holding their breath, when they get sopping wet because they dug through the bottom of a water pond, that sort of stuff. Those sorts of things will stress them out. The higher the morale is, the better they'll actually deal with these things. Our latrine can very, very easily be upgraded to a washroom. Again, as soon as you get plumbed pipe, this is something I normally recommend. A washroom requires a flushable toilet along with a plumbed wash station. And that's... Oh, and you're going to need to remove all the outhouses. So you can't have any outhouses in this room. But it is as simple as just swapping over your wash basins with an actual plumbed sink, swapping over your outhouses with a proper toilet, hooking up an input for clean water, and disposing of the dirty water. There's lots of different ways you can dispose of the dirty water. In my case, I'm literally just dumping it into a pool underneath. That works. There are other ways, and we'll cover them in another video. Next room overlay is a bedroom. Bedroom, you're not going to be able to get to access oil and all sorts of different things. It does take a while to get up to a bedroom, but it can be worth it. You remember a barracks gave you a morale of +1. A bedroom gives you a morale of +2. So it's not a big increase. The biggest thing about a bedroom is it requires a comfy bed. So this is a larger bed, twice the space of a cot. Also requires plastic to build, so it does take a little while to get up to comfy beds. Comfy beds automatically come with a stamina bonus. So sleeping in a comfy bed gives me a 200% bonus per cycle, whereas Kerpop back here has sleeping in a cot 100% per cycle. So technically, you can actually cut down on their schedule and have them sleep less, because the bonuses are twice as high in this room, which we'll get you morale in other different ways, but we'll cover that in a minute as well. The other thing a bedroom needs is a decor item. I am really, really lazy and I'm really a fan of the crown molding. The crown molding is dead easy to do. Any duplicate can do it. You don't actually need a specialized artist to do it. And we can just paste this in along the top of the room. The corner molding and the normal molding have basically no difference, except the corner molding actually has the exact same decor bonus. Yeah, they both got a decor of 5, plus if you happen to build them out of granite, you get an extra 1 decor that way. But yeah, I generally just, as you can see with above, just shove crown molding right into the corner. I don't bother with the corner molding. It's not worth the time and the effort. Next room we actually have is a mess hall. So again, mess hall is something you should be able to set up within the first 5-10 cycles. Mess hall just requires a mess table. It's a very, very easy room to set up. It also gives you the biggest morale bonus you've had so far. So this is +3. If you remember the latrine, even going up to a washroom, we go from +1 to +2. The barracks is +1. The bedroom is still a long, long way off. And that'll only give you increase it to +2. A mess hall's very, very quick and easy to do. Just requires, as I said, those mess tables and a maximum size of 64 tiles. Again, same with everything else. I've built mine 4 tiles high, 16 tiles wide. That gives me a mess hall. Now, mess hall is another one of those rooms we can upgrade into a great hall. Now, a great hall has slightly different requirements. It has a maximum size of 120 tiles. So I tend to build mine already planned out to be 120 tiles long. I don't think this one is actually the right... No, it's not the right size. But, you know, you get the idea. I plan it out to be a little bit bigger. It does require a recreational building and a decor item plus 20 decor. So I've put in the crown molding. The crown molding has a decor of +6. It's not going to get us over the line. I've also put in 2 bits of artwork and a metal block, because these are basically your 3 options to get to that higher decor. If we go to our research tree... we need either a blank canvas or a large sculpting block. And then we need a level 2 artist to actually perform artwork on either of those 2 items. Or we can get a metal block. Now, a metal block is very, very expensive to build. I've actually built mine out of solid gold. That is refined gold. That takes a very, very long time for the duplicates to to get to process. It's very resource intensive for the early game. But if you're stuck because you've had a bad roll with your duplicates, you can just drop down a metal block, which has a base decor value of 20%, and then I've built mine out of gold, so it has an extra 50% on top of that. Your other option is just a mediocre sculpture, which has an art quality of 10, a base quality of 10, and then if you have a level 2 artist, it does require to be a level 2 artist. I've actually had JD myself upgrade to a level 2 before he performed the artwork, and once he did that, it had a quaint status artwork, which gave me the plus 20. Same goes for the painting. We get a base value of 10%, plus an extra 10% from the art quality of being quaint, which gave us the 20% plus 20 we needed overall. Our room overlay, as you can see, with a Great Hall, Mess Hall gives us plus 3. A Great Hall, as I said, takes a little while to get there, but gives you a morale of plus 6. It is a very, very, very large increase to the amount of morale you can actually get. Next one is actually one of the new ones that has been added to the game. It is a park. Now, a park is fairly simple to build. Well, fairly simple to get, but you do need to pre-plan and consider things in advance. You need to have at least 2 wild plants. You cannot build this. This is something you need to plan ahead and make sure you don't dig up everything that's in your way. And then it just needs a park sign, which is very, very easy to build. Costs, a little bit of material. We can build it out of... There we go, obsidian. So just about anything. Park signs can be really built just out of just about anything. And that'll give you a morale of plus 3. The catch is the only time a duplicate will get that morale bonus is if they have enough downtime in their schedule, which we'll cover in a little bit, to actually visit the park to get that morale bonus. Because you're always fighting for time for early on in the game, your duplicates might not get the time to actually come here and get the morale bonus. So I really, really suggest that you plan ahead and try and build a park into a high throughput passageway in your base so the duplicates always are passing through the room to get that bonus. The upgraded version of a park is a nature reserve. It is larger, so you can have needs a larger minimum size with a larger maximum size. It also requires at least 4 wild plants, so twice as many plants as well, but it also doubles the morale bonus from plus 3 to plus 6. Very, very significant way to increase your morale overall. And if you see, same story, duplicates have to pass through the room or have enough downtime to actually enter the room to get that morale bonus. But if I bring up my room overlay again, I've very carefully left a couple of wild plants left around the main ladder corridor. If I put a door in right there to actually isolate that to be a room, I have got an exact 120 tile room with 1, 2, 3, 4 wild plants, which actually means Benjamin right here has, where's your morale? Has a nature reserve of plus 6 because he's had time to walk through this room because it's connected to the bedrooms, to the mess halls and the great halls, everywhere else. It is a main throughput item. As long as he goes to sleep once a day and goes to the toilet once a day, he's going to get this morale bonus whether he likes it or not. Whereas other duplicates like, who's this? Eagle Andy out here, he has not got that morale bonus. But if we tell him to just run from there to there, morale, nature reserve, plus 6 from just running through the room. So one of those things you can plan for very, very early on in the game. It does require some forethought, it does require some planning, but it's well worth doing, especially if you do it on your main access corridor in the other room. Next couple of rooms we're going to cover is the hospital. So a hospital doesn't actually have any sort of morale bonus, but it is a specialized room that hopefully stops your duplicates spreading disease from one to another. It requires a toilet. The toilet does not have to be hooked up. That's very, very important. The toilet just has to be in the room. I do advise normally to hook it up because otherwise the duplicates are going to be coming out and visiting the standard toilets and spreading disease everywhere they go. On top of that, it requires a mess table, again, so they've had somewhere to eat. The catch is They're still going to visit the kitchens. They're still going to go get their food from the same spot as everybody else. So you're still going to have some disease being spread around unless you build a dedicated refrigerator in this room for just them. And then it requires one of these 3 items. So either a triage cot, a sick bay, or the disease clinic. One of those 3 items need to be built in the room. The apothecary does not actually count. So you can put this in the room without a hassle. We'll just dump that in there. And it's still got the hospital room bonus, but it doesn't actually count. So if I was to remove these 3 items, as you can see, I lost the room bonus. So it doesn't actually count. You do need somewhere to actually treat the duplicates in this room. Next one we have is a recreational room. Now, a recreational room itself doesn't give a morale bonus, but the items in it do give a morale bonus. So we have the water cooler, which we used back here in the Great Hall, because it's quick, it's convenient. It's one of the first ones we get hold of. Anybody who uses the water cooler gets a +1 to their morale overall. Next one we actually have is a jukebox. Jukebox is a very heavy power item. In fact, our next 3 are fairly heavy on the power side. They're also fairly late in the tech tree, so not something you're going to get early on. But a jute bot has no morale bonus inherently, but when a duplicate comes there and dances with up to 3 other friends, yes, 3 duplicates can use it at the same time, each one of them will get a morale bonus of +2. The arcade cabinet, same story. It gives a morale bonus of +2. It is only up for up to 2 players. So only 2 players can play this at the same time and get a morale bonus each. Last one's the espresso machine. The espresso machine requires power to start with. It also requires a liquid input to actually make the espresso. Finally, it requires a pinch of peppers. So they're fairly end game item. They're a little bit hard to get hold of, but yeah, it does require a lot more a lot more end game items to get the espresso machine up and running, and it gives a morale bonus of +4. So these can be very, very handy. They can also be very, very costly, either in power or in just physical resources. Last couple of rooms we have up here is we have a greenhouse. So a greenhouse allows the farm station to actually run. That's the only thing it enables. It actually changes. So you can build your farms out in the open. I do it all the time, or in a very, very large room without the farm station. The farm station allows you to turn fertilizer. It allows you to turn fertilizer into micronutrient fertilizer to increase plant growth rates. So it allows all your plants that are affected by the fertilizer and phosphorus, it requires actually 2 ingredients, to grow 10% faster. It is really, really, really handy, but it does cost a lot of duplicate time, both going out and getting the fertilizer to start with, bringing it back, processing it, and then putting it in the plants. So it has its pros, it has its cons. I honestly don't use the farm stations unless I'm really, really desperate for a certain type of seed, because the gods of RNG didn't bless me with enough of them. At which point I might build a temporary farm station to get my seed population up to then finally rip up later on in the game. Our next one is a power plant. So the power plant enables a power control station. So every single power plant puts out a certain amount of wattage. If they have a microchip inserted into the power generators, then their power output is actually increased by 50%. So these 2 coal generators here produce 600 watts each. If they've been interacted by a microchip, which is something that's built, a duplicate puts it into the generator and then lasts for a limited amount of time, that will actually give us take the 600 watts up to 900 watts. It is incredibly powerful, but does cost 2 very, very expensive things. One is duplicate time, as always. The other one is refined metal. So this is going to cut into your metal costs throughout the game. Again, late game, you tend to have a lot of metal, so it's not too much of an issue. Also, late game, you tend to have a lot of power. You also have a lot of power usage. So this is an option. If you need extra power and you don't really want to spend the room or the resources to build the extra power, you can get 50% extra power out of the machines you already have. Last couple of rooms we're going to have is a massage clinic. So a massage clinic takes when duplicate stress gets high, and like as you can see, Tucker's at a grand total of 3%. It will, when the duplicate stress automatically gets high, they will go on a break, lay on the massage table, be massaged, and then stay on the massage table till their stress comes all the way back down. Great, very, very handy. Not too power expensive, but it does end up being duplicate time expensive, basically. Because they're stuck on that massage table, taking time away from actually building elsewhere in the base, it can get very, very expensive with just downtime. Again, a massage clinic significantly improves their stress reduction. So, actually, can we have... Oh, that's why Tucker's in the wrong part of the base. Hey, Tucker, come up here. So, stress here... If I set this to 1%... Come on, Tucker. He's going to eat. Okay, we're going to leave him to eat, and hopefully he'll come down and spend some time on the massage table. The last room I actually have down here is probably the most important one, probably the one you'll actually use the most. It is a stable. Again, doesn't come with any particular bonuses, but it allows you to build a critter a grooming station, which will then take care of your critters and actually domesticate wild critters out there. You're going to end up domesticating a lot of wild creatures for many, many reasons. Some is just to create food generation. What are you doing, Tucker? Sometimes it's going to be for food generation. Other times it's going to be for replication purposes, because domesticated creatures replicate faster. You're eating again. Did I starve you for that long? Eating 3,000. Okay, he's just eating a lot. Let's go pop him down there. Hopefully he'll get nice and stressed out. No, he won't get stressed out. Okay. So yeah, that's the last type of room we have. Finally, on our schedules. So on our schedules, we have the 4 different types of operations that a duplicate can do. Generally, I think you start with 2 bits of downtime, a whole bunch of work time, 3 lots of bedtime, and 2 lots of bath time. So bath time is important to let duplicates physically go to the bathroom. It basically orders the duplicates to wander over the bathroom. Work time is obviously the most important one for you and I. We want them working as much as possible. Downtime lets them go to the bathroom. It's also important because that's the time they eat in. It also allows them to socialize, and as I said, use these rooms like the 2 new nature parks that we've got, along with a recreational room. So downtime is fairly important, and you have lots of different options. So as I said, they need at least 1. If I set it to 0, it means they have no meal time allocated. So you need to give them at least 1 part of downtime. Now, if I give them a second one, we get a +1 morale from having downtime. If I increase that up to 5 parts of the day total, they get a downtime morale of +4. Now, if I drag that all the way out to give them lots and lots of downtime, we don't go above +4. So that is something you need to keep in mind. In your schedule, you can have duplicates have excess downtime to increase their morale. The higher the morale is, the better they deal with stress. As we saw with Tucker, I dumped him in the water and his stress levels still went down because my morales are just so high. Another way we can actually reduce morale, let's grab Drew. Drew. Drew has a decor bonus. I can't see. No, I can't see. Oh, Colberts. Colberts, you are the worst duplicate. No, where are we? Oh. Okay, I left you down there. Come in here, Colberts. So, even Colberts, who has a pretty crappy time looking at this. Where are we? Decor. So everywhere in the base is a certain amount of decor. If I put Coldblitz over here, actually he's wearing a Stasi suit. We'll throw your Stasi suit over here. Come on, fall on the ground so I can click on you again. So, decor. So, his average decor is 45, and his current decor for where he is right now is not too bad at plus 45, because he's got some decent clothing on and that sort of stuff. Now, I can put him in some pretty horrible places. This looks like a pretty horrible place to dump him. And we can see his decor is very, very quickly going down. I think I even have some worse places I can dump it. Like current environmental decor, minus 257. Now, one of the things you can do in your base is decor bomb the base. So, as you can see, I've used the crown molding in the bedroom. I needed some sort of decor to start with, but I actually put in not just one piece, but I put in a whole lot, and we can see the decor gets quite high. If we go back to where we left Paul Coldblitz, where are we leaving? Here. He has a morale of 6 total, and he has a +1 from the decor itself. Let's dump him. Where are those bedrooms? In that bedroom. But if we go to somebody like Huff, who has a decor of 123, they actually get, last night's decor is nice of +6. So having higher decor just around the base in general, especially where duplicates pass often, or where they spend a lot of time in life. So as you can see, this one, the Great Hall had to have some sort of decor. My standard mess hall has no decor. If I was to bring in just some paintings and dump them across the top, we can see we've vastly increased the decor. Same would apply if I put in some paintings in the bedroom. Like they spend on any given schedule, they spend 3 sections in the bedroom sleeping. Kerpop, decor, boom, it's going up in piles, because suddenly the decor in this room is just awesome. It's just the best. So consequently, his decor will go up. His average decor will stay up. Which means, where are we? Terrible meal, great haul. Last cycle's decor, charming of +9. So it always is based off last cycle. So sweeping's another thing. If you have random crap on the ground, that will drop down the decor. Certain buildings have bad decor. Other buildings have perfectly good decor. So it's something you need to keep in mind. The other thing we can have is we can have different plants. So Mirthleaf has a +25 decor. Again, it's just a decor item. It doesn't actually decrease their stress at all. It just gives a decor bonus. If we go to Meep again, we look at his decor. No, it's that overlay I want. We have the I can't remember what this is called. Jumping Joy. Jumping Joy again has +25 to decor. The Bluff Bra, whatever, which you'll start with very, very, very early in the game, also has a +25 to decor. And the last one we've got over here is a Buddy Bud. Now, a Buddy Bud only adds +15 to the decor value. But it actually comes with other bonuses. Before we go too much further, we can see that I've got 3 different types of planter pots here. I have a wall pot, I have a hanging pot, and I have a flower pot. So the wall pot, again, if we go to the decor overlay, has no decor bonus whatsoever. The hanging pot has no decor bonus. The aero pot does actually have a decor bonus. It is something you're going to have to wait till you get to glass and diamond for. So it is a little bit later into the game, but you can get these better types of pots that will have their own built-in decor bonus. before we then put a plan in there to then increase the decor again. As for the Buddy Bud, you'd think with it only having plus 15 to decor, probably wouldn't be a wise choice. The catch is the Buddy Bud actually puts out a special type of a disease. So if I go to one of our horrible biomes over here, it's full of slime lung, which will basically give the duplicates the flu. They'll run around being sick and sneezing over everything. But you can see I do have this is a wild Buddy Bud that I've actually left out in the wild. And it's outputting disease overlay. It's outputting floral scents. And floral scents and slime lung can't intermix with one another. So you can see that this is combating the slime lung. At the same time, if we go back to Meep here and we look at his stress reduction, he actually has smelt flowers recently. So he also has a -5% for this cycle. So again, Buddy Buds can be a very, very powerful thing you can use in your base to decrease stress overall. Again, one of those things I recommend either putting in the bathroom or even in the mess hall, right outside the opening, right in the room, wherever it happens to be. So every single time a duplicate passes in to have a meal and then back out, they're going to smell those flowers and have a -5 to their stress for the rest of the cycle. Pretty sure that's covered just about everything. Yes, you can, going back to the skills page, you can have like duplicates with multiple interests, which can be very, very handy overall to have a lower morale when you start giving them multiple things that you want them to level up in. But then again, a specialized dupe that can just do, Taka is now my doctor. That's his sole purpose in life. Getting a duplicate up to having like 1 skill point, 2 skill point, 3 skill point does take about 30 or 40 cycles. So specialized dupes take 30 plus cycles to get them trained and set up with the maximum in one particular trait. Also, by the time they're 30 or 40 cycles in, you do have quite a large extensive base, at which point morale is less of a concern, as we went through very, very quickly with us doing a room overlay, with us doing a better bedroom, a better bathroom, so that's +2, +2, a great hall's +6, so we're up to +10. If we have them walk through a nature reserve, we're at +16 before we even look at anything else. So getting a decent morale is not that too hard. The other thing we can do is, as it in the schedule, give them longer downtime to have another positive to their morale. We can also feed them better quality food. So feeding them crap food, which is something you're going to do at the start of the game, actually has a negative effect on the morale. Your meal lice, your muck root, your nutrient bars, your mush bars, even meat from critters will have a negative on the morale. Lettuce actually is morale morale equal, has no positive, no negative. Upgrading your food, like turning your meal lice, which you can start the game with, basically. It is your most stable food for early game. And upgrading it to lice loaf takes a little bit of duplicate time, a little bit of power, a little bit of water, does give you a calorie increase, but also brings the morale from -1 to 0. Going up the food list, it doesn't take too long on some maps, depending on map to map. To sort of get to this midpoint, we have +1, +4 possibly to their food. And then right at the top end, we can have, Frostburger at +16. They're going to be a little bit hard to get hold of. But a surf and turf, a mushroom wrap, these sorts of things with a +8 to a +10-ish in morale is not that hard to get to by late game. So you do need to be a little bit careful when choosing your dupes, whether you want a specialized dupe or whether you want a multifaceted dupe or a multi-talented dupe that can do like several different types of mastery. Then again, like Huff has already had 3 lots of mastered. He has a total morale of 26, which is still like well and truly in the range of possible. Exosuit training is one I love my duplicates to have. That way, when I put them in the exosuit, they don't have any morale, any run penalties. And he's still okay. He's still got, 26 out of 24. He still has some leg room to go. And he's a fairly well leveled up. Actually, he could take both of those and still be at +1. So, it's something you have to keep in consideration. Anyway, I think we're done for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, there will be more videos in the next coming days about different things you can do for your early game and how to get through really the early game, some of the basics of the game, and all that sort of stuff. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. If you found the video helpful, by all means, click the like button. Really, really helps. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.